So just moments ago, we heard from FBI Director James Comey and Attorney General Loretta Lynch about the ongoing investigation of the San Bernardino shootings, which is now an investigation into terror. Let's bring in Rod Wheeler. He's a former D.C. homicide detective, Fox News contributor. You're on the phone from San Bernardino. I don't know if you heard, but let me just tell you that Comey said signs the attackers were radicalized. They have seen those signs now. They see them, Rod. Now what?
That's right. Well, you know, there's a couple of things that Jim Comey said, and I listened to the press conference as well, that I thought was very significant. Of course, what you just mentioned, Liz, was very significant, but he also said that they had agents all around the world following up on leads. Now, that's kind of an indication to people in law enforcement that this situation, these suspects obviously had some ties to other countries. And we already know that. I mean, we know the background so far, what we know of the woman. We know somewhat of the background of the guy. So both of those things are very significant in this investigation. And then the third thing that he said that I thought was really interesting is that there's a lot of things that they still don't understand, evidence that they found. And I was thinking the same thing. There's a lot of evidence that's just really not adding up. And all
which
of that
part,
is gonna,
Rod? What's not adding up to you?
You know, the main thing that's not adding up to me as a law enforcement professional is, and I talked about this yesterday, I'm not sure, I think on your show, when I said when the shooters left the original crime scene, where were they going and what were they intending to do with all of that ammunition that they had in their car? In addition to that, you know, at the home where the garage was, what they're calling the IED bomb factory, you know, that place was rigged as if they were not expecting to go back there. So if they were not expecting to go back there, the question becomes, where were they expecting to go? And then real quickly, Liz, the third thing that's very significant is who else assisted these people? And I think Director Comey really believes they had help by someone, but who that someone is, we just don't know yet.
Well, there you are. And I don't know if you could see this or if you heard us reporting this, but Attorney General Loretta Lynch was dispatched by the White House to go be with him, at least that according to Adam Housley of Fox News. We're not sure why, but apparently there's a little bit of tension between the two sides about how this should be characterized, but it could be way bigger. Who knows? And by the way, I don't want to ignore this part of it. The San Bernardino police chief, at the top of his news conference that was supposed to be about the two suspects, felt compelled, Rod, to mention that in the past, I believe, couple of days, two people who looked suspicious were seen to apparently be casing some movie theaters and photographing them very late at night in the area. So who knows if the pipe bombs were then going to be planted? We cannot certainly make conclusions, but it leads to more questions than answers.
Oh, absolutely. Not only questions. That kind of information is very good information that we in law enforcement implore people to call in, because that's exactly what Comey was talking about, Liz, when he said to people, if you see something, you can remain anonymous, but you have to let us know. Because if law enforcement does not know, we can't do anything about it. And in this case, as you know, real quickly, some of the neighbors, and I actually talked to some of the neighbors over on the street where the suspects live, they said they saw certain things. You know, there's an alley that runs behind the suspect's house. Everybody had to see people going and coming from that alley because that's a very busy alley, but no one reported anything, Liz.
Yeah, well, I think the whole situation is a gigantic question mark still, although thankfully for the hard work of the local police who now are not in charge of it anymore. It's now a full-on FBI investigation. Their initial work on the local level was absolutely brilliant. Comey was sure to mention that, and he also, and I don't want to ignore this, gave a real nod to the EMT first responders and the doctors, and in fact he called them angels. I'm